Okay, we are live. Let me pop up the chat box. Okay, folks, we are live. Market's about to open. Eyes are open. Ears are open. We are ready to blast off here. And yeah. I have moved, so moving my home studio and everything took a little bit. Did take a little bit. Please bear with me. So I wasn't doing as many live streams late at night. This video is not supposed to be private. I don't know what's going on here. Keeps doing this. This video is not. Why would it do that to me? What is going on? This video is not. Why would it do that to me? What is going on? All right, it says I'm live, but now it's telling me I'm private. I don't know what's going on with YouTube lately. Last night they made one of my videos private, and I had to fight through it. This video was never private. It was just like a glitch. Who knows what they're trying to do, man? I trying to stop the crypto lifer. But that's why I've got good information. Trying to take me out. Okay, market's about to open. 9:30 market open, and look at JNUG. I was telling everyone to get into JNUG around 350. I figured we had bottomed here. We were very, very oversold. I don't know what's going on with YouTube lately. Last night we were very oversold here, and JNUG $3 up to basically it's up damn near from the bottom here at 369. There's a good gain of 217% coming already. I mean, look at that. If we can get back to that lower high, but already we're up 92% from my buy zone here. You could see this MACD cross is about to start on the daily, very strong. We're very low. This is going to come up and come up very, very hard. So if they do the stimulus to the market and people get in, JNUG is going to fly. It's going to fly. Look, it already got sold off because people said, hey, that was a nice big gain. I'm going to take that. Now the Dow should be up big because I saw it on the futures. Dow up 1,100 points today. Dow today futures rally is Senate near stimulus deal to aid 120 million Americans on lockdown. Still very oversold too as well, so the Dow could make a nice little move back. I don't think it's end for the end of the carnage. I think we're still going to see basically a $15,000 Dow. I think more pain is coming, but through it we're gonna have ups and downs. Bitcoin pumping as well with the Dow, but it was pumping yesterday while the Dow was tanking. I think it's decoupling. I got in at 5,300. Now I sold at 61, and then I went to sleep with a limit order at 5888. It caught. We're now up another $1,000 on the Bitcoin move. And let me just see if I can show you my new position, because I hate when traders talk a lot and say a lot of stuff, but they don't show their positions. To me, that's kind of lame, right? I could tell you all I want and never be in a trade, and to me, that's very, very lame. So let me just make sure everything's right, and I'll show you here. I bought in at 12:11 a.m. at 58888. Eights are like my numbers, 5888. I put a stop loss at 5989 to guarantee gains, and now we're up 14% at $730 for the day. Probably will find some support. I'm going to take at least $500 off the table on this trade, but yeah, making $700 a day from your home in your pajamas isn't too bad of a morning, right? So especially in the carnage while all this is going on, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of people not sure what's happening, and that's why you stick with the same things over and over again. I have a friend who does a cornhole tournament. Shout out to Cameron Dumas, and you know what? He's damn good at it. I just saw one of his videos today, and his first 2 shots in a row went right through the hole. His son even first shot. So my whole point is he does it a lot. He's good at it, right? And he stays to what he does. He has a foundation in cornhole. I know I'm making weird comparisons, but I'm just opening people's eyes to thoughts here. Now, when we look at Bitcoin, it's in a giant asymmetrical triangle, right? For it to hit the bottom of this trend line, which I had already drawn, I had hit this line and made it a line here, and I hit these 2 top lines and made it a line. So when Bitcoin was in this region right here, that's when I decided, that's when I drew this triangle. So when it came up, I thought it was strange that it didn't hit the bottom of the trend line. We did have that horrible day where we went down to like 38. Now, what I see happening for Bitcoin in the long term and the short term, let me see. Let's dive in. So in the long term, I see this coming up, hitting this, coming back down, and unfortunately retesting either 5,400, 6,100 will be the first test. If it breaks that, we'll be at 5,500. And if it breaks that, we'll definitely hold at 49. And it could wick down here to this line. You could see a wick. I don't think that the low 4,000s are done for us yet. Just like when we were at 10,000, we went back to 6,000. So that's something you want to look at, something you want to watch. Okay. JNUG just pumping heavy duty today, making big moves. Yeah. So definitely would have been a nice buy there in the low zone. Also, Bitcoin in the same similar situation. That's why I made my buys at Bitcoin. It has only been oversold on the daily 1, 2, 3, 4 times since December of 2018. All right, folks. So 4 times you could have gotten Bitcoin in this region, in the oversold region. So to me, that's a long-term buy indication that you should be getting into Bitcoin right there immediately. So yeah, if you see something that's only happened 4 times in the last 2 years, that would tell you that it's time to get into Bitcoin, right? Let me see if I can raise this a little bit so I'm more my posture is better. Still working on the new chair, whole new environment for me. So we're just getting used to that and getting into the mood. Like streaming in the morning, my voice is deeper in the morning for whatever reason, and then throughout the day it doesn't stay as deep. But right now it's so deep. Yeah. All right. So the Dow Jones, where I see happening for the Dow Jones. Well, we're oversold, extremely oversold. Let's see how many times we were this oversold. So in 2011, we're here. In 2015, we were here. And then December of 18, very similar to Bitcoin, which is interesting. And August 2019. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the last 9 years, you could gobble the Dow up around here. We also, though, didn't, look at this, no MACD move like this, though. See the MACD? That means we're far away from moving averages, really coming down. We still have some curve up here, but it looks like it may be the end of the carnage for now on the daily, which is a strong indication that we should have a bounce. Now, where do we bounce back to? So you get into the Dow. Let's say you bought the Dow or any, maybe Johnson & Johnson, or you bought like a Vanguard index fund. A nice safe play for the market is Vanguard index fund. Just check on that ticker right now because I don't look at it all the time. I just want to see what's going on. But the Vanguard index fund is something, it's just what my parents play. They're very safe. They're safe. They didn't teach me anything about the stock market, by the way. They didn't know a lot. They kind of just did a few things that some people told them to do. I'm not downplaying their knowledge. They just, they weren't day trading like me. Vanguard index fund. So it's a stock market ETF. So wow, it's at 119. I want the Vanguard 500 though. It's the top 500 companies. Vanguard 500 index fund. I think that's it. Yeah, there it is right there. At 218 and 119. These are index funds. They're both going to hold, but you know what? 2 years ago, this one was at 222, so you would have made no money holding this for almost 3 years straight. So I don't need, these are what my parents do. I don't do that. I don't think it's the best idea. I'm a contrarian investor going against the grain constantly. Walmart up today, Amazon up nicely, holding their gains. Not as much as they were before. Now the Dow hitting 1,300 up. Now what do I see? It gapped up, right? And we'll see. The Dow are taking off on hope for a stimulus bill, right? Let's just see what the news is trying to equate to this. And I don't always believe in the news, but I like to read the news because it's just another piece of information. Wall Street saw a rare bit of green Tuesday morning, with stocks surging at the open on hopes that the Congress will soon sign a $2 trillion stimulus bill. Remember even like 10 or 12 years ago, the word trillion wasn't even mentioned? Now we're having $1 trillion bailouts. I mean, it's when will we have quadrillion dollar bailouts? It's only a matter of time, right? What up, digital dollar? How's isolation, man? Killing us here in London. You know what, man? I'm like such a creative guy. I have music to work on. I have a YouTube channel to edit. I was always getting distracted from real life as it was, like having to go to a job every once in a while. I'm a freelance video editor, so I would take a contract, and I do work on multi-million-dollar shows. I was lucky to work my way up into like a high-end part of the video industry. And so my job is stressful. I don't like offices. I don't like sharing space, you know, call me a pain, whatever you want, but just not my thing. Just going to change. I'm changing my whole setup right now because I'm trying to figure this out for the day, but it's not easy. Okay, here we go. I could even raise that a little bit. Sorry about those knocks. So sorry, guys. Apologize. I'm in a new place, and I'm like very fidgety with my life. Things have to be perfect for me. Okay. All right. Yeah, so this digital dollar news is pretty far out there as well. I was actually predicting this. I said to a few friends, I saw someone who I really believed in say, you know, I think they'll do a dollar stimulus, and it sparked something in my mind. Wall Street saw a bit of green Tuesday morning with stocks surging at the open on hopes that the Congress will soon sign a $2 trillion economic stimulus bill, as well as response to positive signs about Italy's fight against the coronavirus. Efforts to stop the spread of the disease are expected to have severe economic consequences, but Congress has so far failed to reach agreement on spending package that might limit the damage, repeatedly disappointing investors in the latest twist. CNBC reported Tuesday morning that negotiations had reached an agreement that would allow the talks to move past a key stumbling block. I mean, what are they going to sit there and play games with, right? The Dow Jones ETF trust ticker was up 4.5% in pre-market, and Dow Jones Industrial Futures surged more than 900 points. Yeah, I also checked that the short that I was running, I got out of the short at 37. It went all up to 42, and yesterday I was like, damn, I wish I didn't. But now I see the market open, and it got pounded. So I also told another friend who was in it that he should get out. It was getting into the region of oversold a little bit. Here's really, you know, it still has room to move, though. Honestly, I think this would be another buyback. I think getting in right now at 34 would be a good idea. This is just a bump for the market today, so the market can continue to sink. When a stock goes up, it needs to come down a little bit to continue to go up. So like if you were in a stock you wanted to go up, you'd be happy that it went down here and there. And it's the same as this coming down. Paula Receipts. What up, Paula? What's going on? XRPMs are crazy. When are we going bullish and breaking back to the highs so we can make some money? Are you asking about Bitcoin, or are you asking about the stock market? I'm not bullish on the stock market. I am continuously saying I think we will see a $10,000 Dow. I'm going to stick to that. It's something I've been saying for a long time. Again, if you saw my latest video, I basically went through all my live streams and found out when I was showing you guys the Dow. And I'm not trying to toot my horn a little bit, but the proof is in the pudding. If you go back to my latest video, which I put out yesterday, proof one man predicted the 2020 crash. It's I show you on days like January 7th, I'm showing you that I think the Dow is going to crash to about 15,000. I eventually call a $10,000 Dow. XRP and Bitcoin. Okay, we're going to get into that right now. I just want to look at the Dow, check out what's going on. JNUG was definitely my play, up 33%. I said it around $3.50. It was a really good buy. It was time to get some JNUG. So yeah, told a bunch of friends, try to put an alert out for that, see what's going on. Now my beautiful Bitcoin, right? Should be a movie, My Beautiful Bitcoin. Let's get this aligned pretty much on the wicks, off the wicks. I got so much work here, it's starting to clutter up. Might be time to delete it. I like to keep my old work though, because it shows how I'm in like forming a plan that's lasting months, right? Now I got into Bitcoin at 5,300. I alerted people to that buy. I'm pretty sure I talked about it on this channel many times. And again, here we go. This is an indication why you should be getting into Bitcoin right now. If you can see here, November 18th, December 19th, November 19th, and now. Only 4 times since November of 2018, right? And we're coming up on over a year and a half. There was only 4 times in the last year and a half that you could have gotten Bitcoin at this low of a discount comparatively to the moving average, right? So just you know, just something you got to think about there. That's when I would be buying Bitcoin. And as you can see my position right now, I got in at 5,300. I sold at 61. I got back in at 588. It was at like 61, and I set a limit order at 588, went to bed. Luckily it caught. I woke up to money, and now we're up 13.5%, $699, as Bitcoin's at 6685. Let's see where it finally went up to all the way. Let's zoom into the chart. But what I see for Bitcoin right now is still, it's in this giant triangle. It came to the bottom of the triangle, so it should come back up to the trend line, which is very, very plausible, to 8,700. But then I think we see a move back down to 5,400. And then we break out. It could break out at 88, though, so you don't know. What you could do is you could put a buy in right now for 92, right? Because if it breaks out of there, there's a chance that this becomes support. And then you can put a stop loss below the trend line. So I see this coming up. Now, when it does break out of this box, which it's going to do with the halving and a lot of things coming on, we're going to be up 226% when we hit 15,496. So right now would be a great time to start accumulating a ladder buy into Bitcoin. Let's get back into the crypto lifer world here, coin market cap, and we'll see what's going on. Shout out to XRP user, Paula Receipts, Ali Farrat. Thank you so much, all the way from London, man. Appreciate that. Okay, so Bitcoin up 8% on the day, Ethereum up 7%, XRP up 5%, back to 16 cents. Tether holding at $1 as usual. Bitcoin Cash up 5%. Bitcoin SV, the hated Craig Wright loved coin, 8.43%. So many people call it Bitcoin stinky vagina. Sorry to anyone who heard that and doesn't like that, but that's just a funny thing I hear through the internet. Litecoin 5%, EOS 5%, Binance Coin up 5%. I think this is a huge buy right now, Binance Coin. In the long term, and I'm a long term, don't swing trade. So should I wait and accumulate slowly, or wait till it dips and then begin accumulating? Well, right now is part of the dip. You have to look at this. If you're a long-term accumulator, they say when in doubt, zoom out, right? So if you're a long-term accumulator, you want to be on a daily chart or a weekly chart, right? Because you're not looking at the day-to-day. You're looking at, so here we are at the weekly chart, okay? So I'm going to try to put this in perspective for you, Ali. Here we are on the weekly chart. Here is the run-up to 20,000, okay, right here. And what if I could like duplicate that? Yeah, just keep accumulating. But let me just show you why. Now, here's the run up to 20,000. And this is what's called a MACD, moving average convergence and divergence. Okay. So this is when it's blood in the streets and it's bad and it's red. You'll see we have like a light, we have like a pinkish and a reddish bars, which are called a histogram. Now, when we get a run up, if you were to see the run up, it would be here. Let me show you XBT, because that has like the longest, chart, right? So here you can see the run up, boom, and then you can see the run down. So when we were about to cross, that was when it's time to buy, like right around here, when you can see the blue line crossing the red line. Now here we saw the blue line cross the red line on the downside. When the blue line goes below the down, look, That was creating this whole bear market that we suffered through. But as we came out, you saw the blue line crossing the red again, and that's when we had our run up all the way to 13,000. Almost, I think 13.7 was the top here in June. Never forget that day. My portfolio went up more than I ever seen it in a small amount of time. I had this cup that I thought we were forming. We did fall out of the cup, so it kind of invalidated that idea. Now you can see we turned back bearish. We had a little bull move, and we're bearish again, but we're getting white. So these are getting smaller, so it means there's more volatility is what it's saying. Now, the last time you bought Bitcoin down here, you made out really well, right? We're down here again. I think there could be, sometimes we go up, we come down. What my whole point is, if you're in for the long term, then you're trying to hold Bitcoin until about, 100,000, 200,000. So whether you got it at 6,700 or 3,800, anything under 8,000 would be a steal for you, honestly. So right now I would be accumulating. I still accumulate Bitcoin. Despite my large holdings or whatever I have, I think are large, but a lot of people would laugh at my holdings. But for me, I worked hard to get where I'm at, and I'm still buying $200 a month. Every single month, I have an automatic buy set, so I don't have to think about it. It happens on the 25th of the month. So tomorrow, my buy gets executed. Sometimes when I see something in the market, I'll make a buy at a really, really low place, like if I see something like this. But this is telling me that there could be a little more downside. We could come back down. What I think is going to happen is we're going to come back up, fight our way. If we hit the top of the trend line to 9,800, but then we crash again back to 58, right? A lot of volatility is going to be going on here. So funny how this is paused. Not sure why that's paused. Weird. But anyway. And we'll look at some other coins. Remember, I told you guys to get into XTZ at 120. I said it. You can say I made my green buy box. And you can see my last few videos. I think, Ali, you were on the video when I did that. I said 120 is the buy box. That's the zone. We're up 50 on that 120. You damn near made 44% on that move alone, right? If you had just taken that trade that I told you about. Again, this is not financial advice. This is only for entertainment purposes only. Please get yourself a financial advisor, and don't sue my ass if you lose a bunch of money. It's on you. All right. Let's look at the red, though. A lot of crazy coins that people like to play. Loom down. Tomo down 3%. Troy down. Ion down. IOTA down. Kava down. EOS, Theta. All these coins. Now let's see the green guys. Rep keeps moving, man. NKN, something I like to look at. It's got, look at NKN on the 4 hour. If you can see, we're in a bit of a falling wedge. Could come back to the trend line and then break out. But we have a MACD cross coming. There's a chance that this loops up. It's kind of a twisted double bottom. It's got some weird movement there. We could also do a flat line here and play this flat line. Interesting. Seems to be support here for NKN at 0109. Might put a buy in there and see if you get lucky, right? All right. Engine coin is one of my favorite coins. And if you don't know what engine coin is, it allows you to melt items in a game. Like if you're in a game and you spend all your money. Wait, Ali, I want to give you, if you're still there, I wanted to give you XRP. We're not done with XRP yet. But anytime, Ali, if anyone finds awesome news out of my channel and it makes you happy to watch my channel, please donate some Bitcoin, some Litecoin, some Ethereum, XRP. All my address is right here in the description. I do this for a living. I can't monetize till I'm at 1,000 subscribers. So we're a tenth of the way there. We keep moving. Bill was passed in the midst of all this for the digital dollar and digital wallets for American citizens. Start January. Yeah. No, we're gonna get into that. Title of digital dollar stimulus. If you could send me that article to my Twitter, anything that you read here. Okay, Ali, this is for you right now. We want to get into XRP. Okay, XRP USDT. Okay, so here's my work on XRP. Now, it's been hard to be an XRP holder these days, let's be honest. I mean, it's not hard because we believe in the coin. We know what's going on with it, but they're trying to flush you out of your XRP if they ever have. Now, let's see. XRP in August of 2018 oversold extremely. Here, a little oversold. Here, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. again, in a year and a half where you could have gotten XRP where you should have. You should only really want to be accumulating really in these low zones. Anything under 50 on the RSI is where you want to be accumulating. Yeah, shoot it over right here to tweet it at me here, and I'll hit that link. I'm finding this is the best place to hit links because I don't think they let you post links because they think like you might be, you know, anyone who's watching my channel. They try to block spam here. I also have a group, Crypto Lifer, on Facebook. If you want to join, become a member. We just talk a lot here and there. I'm not a huge Facebook guy, but I do post stuff here, and I talk to a few people here, Scott O'Leary. You know, people just see, gets more people to the channel. I figured I got to start expanding how I run traffic to the live stream. Okay, so XRP at 1615. Where do I see XRP and why? Well, we already showed you right now on the daily that it was only oversold 5 times this bad in about almost a year and a half, 18-month period. So this is a good time to accumulate XRP, in my opinion. It is flashing a sell signal on an oscillator, and let's get into that. But we have a MACD cross here on the daily, which is strong, meaning we should have a push up, at least to the top of this trend line at 19 cents. That's kind of what I see happening. I'm gonna close my work for XRP, and we're gonna start over together. All right. This is where I like to get into the nitty gritty. So this is a real deep dive into XRP now, guys. When you see me delete my old work, that's hard for me. That means I'm ready to do a deep dive. Okay, strong support here at 13.5. Definitely. We wick down, but the wicks are just them trying to get you out. If you had the BALZs to get into this wick, you're a champion because that means you bought XRP at like 10 cents and you're up 50% already on that move. So, you know, if you did that, I would take some money off the table, maybe half, sell 25%. Now we're finding these places where XRP like to hit. Okay, so XRP has some support here, resistance here at 18 6 cents. Heavy resistance here. Remember that 30-cent range? It just like loves to battle with 30, 31. We thought we were going to get through that multiple times, and we just did not. I couldn't believe that. Every time we got over 30, I was like, that's it. We're never going to see the low prices again. And boy, did we see the low prices again and again and again. So we're in this channel right now, as you can see, right? Trend line at the top, trend line at the bottom. So we were in, but it is getting more narrow, which is a good sign. You want it to get more and more narrow, right? You want these to conjoin eventually. So what I see happening for XRP is this is a good time to accumulate because even if it doesn't go as high as it should, there's 100% gains coming to XRP up to 27 cents. Yeah, 109%. Actually, we got to go where it actually is, though, not on the trend line. 71% gains coming for XRP. All it has to do is come to the top of this trend line, right? That's a short-term play. Let's see how it happened here. December 19th, 22, and it got up there on February 20th. So 2 months to make 100%. And that's, I mean, 70%, 30% a month. And you know what? If Bitcoin has some movement with the halving and we see some other things, that could make XRP pretty cool to watch. So we are in a falling wedge with the 61% chance of a break to the upside. Let's try to see the target for the falling wedge. If we do break out, it puts us here, and it kind of hits this resistance line that you can see is very strong at 49 cents, around there. I'm a little somewhere in this zone. It's not a perfect area, so we're going to draw a zone. But this is the target here, and I think we could get there. I think we could get there by, May or June. First week of June, we could see XRP at 49 cents, and it's at 16 cents right now. So I have to be honest, I have a $7 position in basic attention token. I'm contemplating so. I told you not to get in there, man. Remember that day you asked me about basic attention token, and I told you that I liked it, but I didn't think it was the good play right now. But honestly, do whatever you want. I think I love basic attention token. Let me look at it for you and tell you what's going on. All right. This is the channel I wish I had. I ask a comment, and the guy just goes right into what I need, right? So let's look at basic attention token. Looking a lot like XRP in a way, right? So we have strong support. I mean, it wasn't buy. I mean, if you got in at 700, honestly, I buy my words. I mean, if you got in between 10 cents and 13 cents, not too bad, right? We are oversold on the RSI. We have a MACD cross coming. This tells me that you should stay in this position, but I don't like to trade things that are below the moving averages. See how all the moving averages are up here? It's not a good sign. Not a good sign, right? Again, Atom. A lot of these coins are looking the same. you really want to wait till they break above a moving average, at least for some support. Otherwise, like see when it was up here, it's above all these lines in this area. So that's just why I would be wary of it. But let's look at it in the grand scheme of things. Let's see what kind of pattern we're forming for a basic attention token. And thank you everyone on the stream today. I really appreciate it. So basic attention tokens in a bit of a falling wedge as well, as you can see. And yeah, it's at the bottom of the trend line. This is the perfect time to buy. We have a MACD cross coming and we're oversold. So yes, you know what? If you took a nibble, probably was a good idea. 11.5 cents. Yeah, so you're up, man. You're up. Let's see how much you're up right now, because you might want to take some money off the table. 11.5. You're up a nice 21% right now. So at the $700, you know, divided by 5 is what, 175, something like that. 700 times 0.20, 140. So you're up $140. Huh. And you want to stay in. You're not sure what's going to happen. I do see it coming to the top of the trend line here, which would give you 142% gains, putting it back into the 20-cent region. But you do want to look at the dominance, and let me take you to all the coins. You want all the coins. Where is this? It's basically you want all of crypto. Might be in Lifer 2. You want to look to see what's happening with, because right now you're riding the Bitcoin dominance. If Bitcoin gains more dominance, you're going to see a lot of more pain for the altcoins. And it's something you really want to watch out for. So that's why altcoins are, you know what? It's probably the hardest trades for any trader, any person, because you can have it spot on and Bitcoin could just rock you out of nowhere. It really can. It's weird like that. Very, very strange how this all works. But so it's called Total 2, okay? Total 2 is the entire market cap of all the coins without Bitcoin, okay? So you really want to look at this and you want to get a view on this. I mean, we are oversold here as well. We have a MACD cross coming on the daily. So you know what? If the market moves in your way and Bitcoin doesn't go insane and things kind of stay flat, Bitcoin stays between 67 and 7,200 and doesn't get too huge on you. If it has a huge move, though, up to 8,000, you could see the USDT pair. Ali, are you in the BTC pair or the USDT pair? Because that's important. If you're in the BTC pair and Bitcoin runs, you could lose a little bit. But if you're in the USDT pair and Bitcoin runs, technically, that's how I play it. You should be in a good spot. You should be in a really good spot, actually. Just trying to figure out USDT or BTC. Let me know what's going on with that. All right, let's get back to basic attention token. But yeah, I have the USDT pair up here because that's how I like to play them. And then if I make money, I like to buy Bitcoin. Instead of, some people like to trade just for Bitcoin. The oscillators are giving me a sell signal, but that doesn't mean much. But it's just interesting to see. Moving average are a strong sell. The summary is a strong sell, and the oscillator is neutral. It doesn't always play out perfectly, but this is just, you know, all these different huge indicators that a lot of people use, and it's just telling you exponential, all these things, because we're below a lot of them, right? I see us having resistance at the first move here, so I would be ready to sell. You want to be watching this white line here. Right now, it's at 15.9, okay? So it looks like we could have some resistance, and you can also see we had support here at 15.9. So that's going to be your first resistance. Okay, so you're in USDT, you're in US dollars, so that's good. That's good. That'll help you out. Okay, so honestly, another thing that you want to do, if you can, is you want to transfer that money to your Coinbase Pro account, which is part of your Coinbase account, and you want to be trying to buy and sell on there, because we can get into that, though, how Coinbase and Coinbase Pro are slightly different. I wanted to store it on my ledger, but thinking to put the money in something alternative. So you're a smart man. You already got a ledger. Good for you. You're doing the right thing. You're taking your money seriously. You're becoming your own bank. God bless you, Ali. God bless you. Salam alaikum if you are a Muslim. And sorry if you're not. But Muhammad Ali, when I see Ali, I'm pretty sure you may be Muslim. Maybe not, though. But peace be with you anyways. That's all salam alaikum means. Most people don't realize that, or maybe they do. So, yeah, I would say that it's going to have a little bit of resistance here at 15. If it breaks through 15, you know, then you're in for a party. Because it looks like the next place you'll have some resistance is here at 23 cents, which would be a really nice gain, right? 100% gains coming at you. Actually, wait, no. Yeah, 71% gains coming at you. Alaikum salam. Thank you, man. Alhamdulillahi. Yeah, my wife is Muslim, and have a story about that. Maybe I'll share another time. But yeah, I've read the Quran a few times, so I am learned. Okay, so that's basic attention token. Now, when it does break out of this, because it will one day. I don't know how long you want to hold, but it will. I think there's some more promising coins to hold, but it will get back. It's gonna break this old support at 52 cents. That has 289% gains coming at you from where we're at right now. Honestly, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with holding this coin for 2 years. I think you will make money, but you just do want to have a stop loss. Like once you start getting into the money, like right now, 13.6, I would have a stop loss at 12 to procure at least a little bit of your gains. That's the issue with Coinbase is you can't really protect your funds. They just sit there like they're in the bank. But once you open Coinbase, you can open what's called a Coinbase Pro account. Let me show you. I'm not going to sign into mine right now, but it's called pro.coinbase.com. Now, this is really an actual exchange, okay? Just want to hide my name there. This is really an actual exchange, okay? So, see, it shows I have 0.05 Bitcoin in there, which I didn't even realize I had. That's $500. I just like forgot about $500 with the Bitcoin. It's been sitting there for so long. I'm like, oh, there you are, a little bit of bitty. And what you want to do is you want to hit deposit, okay? And then you want to go what asset you want, and you would be doing basic attention token, right? I don't think I can trade that here in my state. They don't let me trade that. So I can't trade basic attention token. Maybe you can, but if you can, you look for it here. You would click on your asset like Bitcoin, and you would hit deposit from Coinbase account, and you would basically hit the max amount that you want to deposit, right? Which I have a half of Bitcoin in there now, almost 0.6. And then you would hit deposit, and that would end up right here, okay? Right here. And then you could basically make a stop loss. You can buy and sell just like I am when I'm using my other programs. So Bitcoin just hit 66.89, doing really well. So that's just basically, I wanted to show you that so you can get a handle on that. Because it's good to have a stop loss. And yeah, it's really good to have a stop loss. You want to stay protected. You really do, if you can. Because we could have a huge crash. And like, do you want to hold through like another year of pain? Or do you want to just get that money when you can, you know? So just bringing that up to your attention. And again, as you become, you know, when I first started trading, I didn't know anything about this, and I wasn't able to do that, right? That wasn't something I knew about. But I want to educate you about how to protect your funds at all times, right? You should always have a stop loss because you don't know what's going to happen, right? Some people long-term holding, and that is what it is. For instance, I do have a lot of XRP on a ledger with no stop loss. Had I had a stop loss at 20, though, it would have been nice, right? And then I could have accumulated more in the 16 region. So, you know, it's not always the best to just sit and hold. But you know what? Sometimes you don't have the time to trade, and it is what it is. You just want to watch these big moves. Protect yourself from big moves so you can buy more. I mean, eventually you can get more of the same thing, right? Let's get back into Bitcoin. Let's see what's going on. Am I trading any? I'm not looking at any alts right now. I feel like the market is just weird. I just really started trading Bitcoin only, which I never did before. I was an alt guy. But the alts were getting hard because Bitcoin was making so many moves. So I figured, you know what? Let me just sit on Bitcoin. Data made a huge move. Wow, look at that push up. Up 400%. in a couple days. This thing, I mean, recently it went up even more, but wow, look at that. At 54, it went all the, at 0.005, a half a cent, and it went all the way to 3 cents. So it was a half a cent to 3 cents just since St. Patrick's Day. Wow. What's going on, Bowling Crypto? How's everything, man? Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate that. What up? I want to just hold and sell my coins at better prices. I love your education, man. If I could, I would have donated lots to support. Hopefully, when we're all up, I'll be sending something across for sure. Yeah, you could even send a buck, man. You could send a buck of XRP. Yo, recently this guy sent me $5 in XRP. I couldn't believe it. Paul Taylor, I think it was. Nicest guy, man. Yeah. Hey, if you learn to trade, you make some money on a trade, something I suggested, hey, and you know what? You don't have to throw anything. Just being here and commenting is really worth even more any monetary value to me, because that's all I'm doing this for, is to connect and to be with like-minded people. Bitcoin at 6,700. That's where we want to be. That's where we want to see a move. Let's get back into like basically how it's moving with the funds around the earth, like the Dow and Bitcoin. I like to juxtapose them. Now, I think the Dow doesn't get any better than this. 1240. I think we eventually close the day up 600. I think it's going to lose this 600. That's what I'm thinking. A good time to sell. JNAG was up at the 5,500, but we still haven't had the MACD cross. So I really like to buy things in the pinky, whitey part of the red histogram. And then you get out. So the gains are made in the pinky part of the histogram and the green part of the next move. These two coupled together. I'm trying to find a nice place where you can see that. These two coupled together, where it sees you have the pink. Here we have pink and the green. This area here. See, you would have made from here to there. So that's just kind of how I like to play it, right? Okay. Now the Dow Jones holding these gains and Bitcoin at 6,700. Interesting. Now let's get into some interesting news, okay? Let me see if I got sent. Did I get the tweet from Sulo? Muser, send me that tweet. Dang, man. Tweet at me. Tweet at me, bro. Maybe you did. I'm checking. Shout out to Tom DeLong. He's been on a search for alien life for a long time. Used, Blink 182 dude. Used everything he's learned to try to help people. But he's all about UFOs, and he wants disclosure. Just to bring that up, that's something I'm also into. Just so you guys know. The crypto lifer is cryptic. 6708, Bitcoin continued to pump with the markets. It is slightly correlated, but yesterday it wasn't. Here I saw we had somewhat of a bull flag. Let's look at it on the 3-day. We have a MACD cross coming on the 3-day. We're pink. We're coming up here. On the weekly, we're basically coming out as well. On the monthly, can't see a dang thing. Have to do XDZ on that one because it wasn't always trading for Twitter USD Tether for a long time. So to see the big one, you got to go to XDC. Let's see on the 4-hour, we're coming up, but it looks like it's kind of the end of a rally. We were very kind of in that oversold region. Looks like we may come back down to the trend line. We did have this 64 bounce. I'm thinking maybe it's time to take some money off the table. I may close this trade here at 66.8 because it just was a good trade, put me up in a good spot. Don't want to lose those gains, right? And anything could happen at any moment. And I don't see this could keep going. We might have it's starting to round off here, which telling me that we're gonna have a little bit of a dip. But that's the hard thing about trading. You gotta just you gotta have a plan and stick to it because you never know when things are gonna change, right? Okay. Fed's infinite amount of cash is the biggest argument for Bitcoin yet. Okay, something you want to think about. When they keep printing the dollar down to the point where it's just like free money for everybody, I mean, it's not a good sign. It's not something that you want, right? Moving myself into the screen there. Fed's infinite amount of cash is the biggest argument for Bitcoin yet. The Federal Reserve Bank has infinite amount of cash, says Minneapolis president. Crypto experts argue this is why Bitcoin was created. Bitcoin price continues to build back up after the big drop. President of the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, Ned Kashkari, said that the Federal Reserve has an infinite amount of cash in response to worries over the stock market collapse. Now, when they say that it has an infinite amount of cash,
you don't need to. Your ATM is safe. your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there's an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
He doesn't realize that when you print money like that, you print money to zero. If you keep printing money, you're going to devalue the dollar, right? The market will respond when something has a lot of it, right? Anything that has tons and tons of stuff, the market will respond to that. So there's enough cash in the finance. We will do whatever we need. Unlimited, you don't want to hear that, right? Bitcoiners have always known that fiat detached from some kind of peg, i.e. gold, always ends up with the abuse of money printing. Governments can't help themselves, and the current crisis just brought front and center that money printing is one of the few tools they have left. The trillions of USD that will be printed will be unprecedented in history, Albert's managing director of INX told Decrypt. I thought once the dust settles of liquidations, margin calls, and outright panic, Bitcoin will start to show its strength against unlimited fiat printing, he added. Matty Greenspan, farmer of quantum economics, agreed. This is basically the reason Bitcoin was created. He said one of Bitcoin's main objectives is to counter the notion that money creation can be inexhaustible. Like, you can't just keep printing money. You need to have a fixed asset at one point. In fact, hard-coded in Bitcoin's Genesis block, the first Bitcoin block ever made was an extract from the Times newspaper referencing 2008 global financial crisis. Hey guys, I can't have that. I can't have that. I can't have that right now. Come on now. Traditional markets are dire straits. The S&P 500, yeah, that's what happens when everybody's quarantined in a house, right? Nothing you can do. In response, the Fed is doing all it can to try to stop the carnage, promising $1 trillion in daily repo operations. $1 trillion a day loaned to banks, and further quantitative easing, putting more and more money into the system. Leaked Fed document right here. What if the bank runs out of money? Some players think the bank is bankrupt if it runs out of money. The bank never goes bankrupt. To continue playing, use slips of paper to keep track of each player's banking transactions until the bank has enough paper money to operate again. The banker must also issue new money on slips of ordinary paper. So that's from the Monopoly game, right? It's just like, yeah. And yeah, that's all I got to say, right? So far, the Bitcoin price has responded positively to the latest announcements of the fiscal stimulus. While the stock markets have continued to fall, Bitcoin's price is working its way back up, now up 37% since last week's low. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoLifer33, where I say funny things, talk to different people. I even tweet my link here. I was supposed to get a link from User, but I did not. I wanted to show you the article that he had mentioned. Coronavirus could delay 2019 crypto tax filings and payment. Cryptocurrency investors in the United States who score wins in 2019 can delay filing and payment on their taxes for 90 days. The announcement came from the Trump administration, allowing taxpayers to delay payments up to $1 million individually. The U.S. delayed tax filings. While penalties and interest will be waived during the 90-day grace period, the initial order from the IRS has kept the filing date set at April 15th. According to Kevin Brady, part of the White House Ways and Means Committee, taxpayers should file by April 15th as normal, and the deferral will be applied automatically. But why have you deferred? Would you... That doesn't make sense to me. I guess you have 90 days, regardless. And you not worried with the potential news about the internet going down and people's crypto at risk. Honestly, a guy actually sent Bitcoin, and so storing offline is safest for now. Yeah, actually, and you also want to get a Faraday cage. Okay? So this is something I'm showing you guys, a Faraday cage. And you'd be like, why? What is a Faraday cage? Well, they're cheap. I'm pretty sure you can get them on Amazon, or let's just see. There's different versions of them. But this is what it's a Faraday cage. Let's see if we can buy one. Okay. Yeah, here's a military grade Faraday cage, right? And you'd be like, what is a Faraday cage? And what are we talking about here? Well, Faraday cage, military grade, uber thick, solar flare bags, 2 metal layer, fully spec'd, heavy duty electro shielding. Because if there was an EMP, I know about. Thank you. I'm showing you what I'm talking about here. Now, a Faraday cage is a shield or an enclosure to block electromagnetic fields. A Faraday shield may be formed by a continuous covering of conductive material, or in the case of a Faraday cage, by the mesh such materials. Faraday cages are named after the scientist Michael Faraday, who invented it in 1836. You can read about him. He was an English scientist who contributed to the study of electromagnetism and electrochemistry. His main discoveries include principles underlining electromagnetic induction and diamagnetism and electrolysis. The Faraday cage operates because an external electrical field causes electrical charges. So if there was an EMP, an electronic magnetic pulse, your crypto wallets would be safe, because that's why we're here, man. That's why we're here. Because the Faraday cage will keep your crypto wallets from getting singed by a solar flare, by anything really. So if you have crypto wallets, they should be in a Faraday cage, all right? Here you can buy Faraday cages. You can look them up. You can get into one. Maybe I don't know the most best one, and we got to figure out really the most trusted company as a unit. But yeah, they have Faraday bags. Like this would be a nice Faraday bag. And it just, you know what? It blocks any electronic, people who are learning how to basically hack people and stuff like that. Yeah. So now another thing is man sends Bitcoin through the radio. If you've seen this, this is something I saw recently, and I'll have to do a whole thing on this. But there was a Bitcoin transaction. No internet, no problem. How to send Bitcoin by amateur radio. In an age where governments are triggered at happy and censoring or shutting down networks, it's reassuring to know that Bitcoin can operate sans the internet. Network censorship, after all, is not some dystopian storyline, but a power exercised by many democratic governments across the world. Thankfully, there are solutions that enable people to send and receive Bitcoin even in the worst case scenario. For an advanced technology, it turns out that cryptocurrency can get surprisingly low tech. Imagine waking up one morning to find the internet is down, not because the Wi-Fi has been disconnected. Instead, your government has pulled the plug. You have no idea when it will be back online, and in the meantime, you're cut off from life as you know it, ranging from contract with loved ones abroad to paying for anything by card. Since society is big on keeping cash these days, and ATMs stock up only so much paper money at a time, chances are you'll have to sidestep or engage in a few fistfights if you're to put a meal on the table. Since Bitcoin itself is a form of digital currency, it takes a good amount of pre-planning to set up a transaction. But in theory, it can still operate when conventional options are forcefully removed from the equation. While most of us will hopefully never experience a dystopian world of internet, the productivity sages remind us that a failure to plan is planning to fail. Knowing how to transact with cryptocurrencies in a chaotic world is a sort of knowledge that might just come in handy one day, and in the meantime will make you the most interesting guest at the dinner party. Depending on political stability, Scotty, we're going over how if they shut down the internet, you can still send Bitcoin through a radio, an amateur radio. This is really, really cool news. Okay, so while most of us will hopefully never experience this, yeah, it might come in handy. Depending on the political stability of your geographic location, learning how to send Bitcoin without the internet could be nothing more than a fun Saturday afternoon science project. Then again, it could provide the way out of a tight spot one day. And whether it's transferring funds to a buddy struck in the middle of the ocean or bribing a zombie to feast on the coins stored in your Bitcoin wallet instead of devouring your brain. 2014 saw the earliest mentions of Bitcoin being sent via airwaves. Ham Radio coin was one of the earliest vanity altcoins, geared at the ham radio industry. While it wasn't entirely clear why said niche industry needed a dedicated currency, it is currently at a $794 market cap, unchanged since May 2017. But the idea of marrying Marconi and Tesla, man, don't take Tesla out of this. Marconi stole a lot of his ideas. And Satoshi was bound to lead more useful experiments. A step in the right direction saw Finnish company Virtus Valuta propose the creation of a P2P half duplex ham radio cryptocurrency. Also in Finland, Crypto Radio partnered with a national broadcaster to pilot a cryptocurrency data transmission system that broadcasts Bitcoin transactions, blocks, and current exchange data via national DVB-T television networks in real time. The project failed to launch its commercial phase, with founder Joe explaining. But in 2017, computer scientist Nick Szabo, I met him actually he started the Bitcoin exchange down on Wall Street, and PhD researcher Elaine Wu delved into the topic at Stanford's Scaling Bitcoin conference, introducing a research project that proposed tethering Bitcoin to radio broadcast to secure consensus proofs using weak signal radio propagation. And with Novak and Patterson's latest feat, crypto Twitter went wild. Szabo, showing that he's still a firm proponent of taking Bitcoin skyward, chimed in to congratulate the duo for a successful send-off that not even a snowstorm could stop. How to send Bitcoin by radio. As Novak and Patterson have illustrated, you don't need an overload on gear or make a space for satellite storage in your backyard to send Bitcoin by air. Accompanying on a SDM ham on this quest was nothing more than a 40M 70 megahertz antenna and the JS8 call application. While the setup seems simple enough, Google Ham Radio for Beginners for a primer, in practice, this is probably not something you'll dive into unless you're just messing around or in real life shit gets real. I'll probably do this. I'll probably get a ham radio and get it ready because you never know. In truth, there are restrictions aplenty when it comes to sending Bitcoin by radio. First of all, legalities. To stay on the right side of the law, some countries require you to be a licensed ham operator, and even then, you're able to send an encrypted message, unable to send or use airways for commercial purposes unless so licensed. At this point, it's not yet clear which government task force will join the SEC and Co. in clamping down on illegal apocalyptic Bitcoin via radio transactions. Then there's the prepping for it. First, to be viable, albeit last resort, solution in an actual nail-bite situation, sender and receiver would have to set it all up in advance. Novak and Patterson were able to execute their experiment by communicating and collaborating in lieu of the transfer using a brain wallet. The brain wallet, which is simply storing your mnemonic recovery phrase in your brain, is not to be confused with the recent, more nefarious version, the death wallet, popularized by CEO who took the keys to Quadriga's crypto kingdom to his grave. Yeah, the death wallet and the brain wallet, right? The death wallet means like nobody knows but you, and when you die, it's gone. A brain wallet. Thus, if you're going to use this as a backup plan for when stuff hits the fan, you better secure a right-hand man and a foolproof project management blueprint while things are still web-friendly. If this process seems as though it walked off the pages of a James Bond novel, yes, it's decidedly more involved than a mere intra-wallet send-off. All right, so I'm trying to see where they tell you how they do it, right? Like it's convoluted here. We tend to associate worst-case scenarios in which the main character has nothing but a walkie-talkie and an old ham lying around on Hollywood's portrayal of doomsday. Yet unforeseeable regions like Zimbabwe and Venezuela, internet blackouts were how 2019 got its start. In reality, network censorship is all too common control for too many governments around the world. Two of my favorite things, Bitcoin and amateur radio. Bitcoiners should seriously consider learning more about how radio works, its censorship-resistant needs, or exceeds any form of communication. Bam! Bitcoin sent over 7.07 megahertz via SJ8 call to Samuel Pat. Sweet blockchain, Toronto, Canada, Michigan. Toronto, Canada to Michigan, right? Because it's a brain wallet made ahead of time with bearer PK, I don't require internet to broadcast this transaction at the time I'm sending it. Good luck to stopping information across borders when all you need is 40 watts of power, a long piece of wire, and a radio and a computer. Sam Pat. Let's follow him because this guy knows what he's talking about. Now we learn another awesome person. Great info. One hand on the mouse. All right. The real question is, if we don't have the internet, I feel like we will have more important needs than cryptocurrency. Could be conceivable we go back to some type of barter system. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good way to think about this too. So U.S. will delay the tax filings. Bitcoin may catch sustainable bids sooner than expected, right? Now that the Fed flipped the switch on its printing press to on mode, investors are circulating the wagons in search of an asset that will rise above the heap. Bitcoin could be it if recent performance has any indication of what's to come. The lines between asset classes have been blurred since the onset of the coronavirus pandemic. I'll be donating something today just to thank you for your time. Honestly, you're great, and I'm a huge fan already. A bit annoying I can't copy your addresses, so I'll have to manually do so later. No, you could just go here. This is what I do. You write here like this, and then I right-click and hit copy. Boom. You can copy them right off the description. Copy. See? Right click, hit copy. Takes 2 seconds, man. Look, I can send you my Bitcoin address, I think, in the description. Boom. That's and then my XRP. I feel like I'm haggling for money though. Like I don't want to feel that way, but I just want to make it easy for anyone asking a question. But with the XRP, you have to add this tag with it. I got you, man. Well, you have an email with this name, Ali Farhat, right? I'll look you up and email you because if you're commenting, you have a Gmail. So I could send it to your email. We'll figure it out. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. That's unreal. Like, see what I'm saying, guys? Look. You can eventually make money off your YouTube channel. You can survive, right? Bitcoin eyeing 7,000 after Fed says it has infinite cash. Bitcoin and gold showed clear signs of strength on March 24th as the United States Federal Reserve revealed the true extent of its money printing. Having cleared 6,000 on Monday, Bitcoin USD went on a huge ground around 6,500. At the same time, gold rallied, and market analysts suggested its recent sell-off was over. Okay, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. U.S. banks paying the Fed as Bitcoin at 16%. The U.S. Federal Reserve announced a raft of new initiatives to prop up enfeebled and dysfunctional treasuries, mortgages, and corporate credit markets on Monday. The result now seeing U.S. banks pay the central bank, a situation that highlights how grim the situation is on the ground. Amid the widespread pandemic and rising COVID-19 cases in the United States and Europe, Bitcoin buoyed by news that the Fed is officially on an infinite QE circle, is up 11% in the last trading day. I mean, an asset with only 3 million coins. Thank you so much, bro. An asset, you too, Ali. An asset with only 3 million coins, and then they're going to print something to infinity. Which one would you want? That's why Supreme clothes are worth more money, because they only make a few of them, right? If everyone could get Supreme, it wouldn't be worth money. We want to donate. You were so awesome. Thank you so much, man. It's Paula Receipts. This is awesome, man. I really appreciate it. I really do. The channel is really taken off. I think when you really love something and you're passionate about it, the world sees that. And awesome. You could figure it out. I mean, if you want to buy Bitcoin, you could PayPal me if you really want. PayPal at remote chief at Gmail. That's my PayPal if you want to send a PayPal there. remotechief at Gmail. Yeah. REMOTE. Gold is almost back to its highs. I believe it's going much higher. Let's go Bitcoin. Get on your horse and ride. Same thesis. Mike Novogratz. I'm the same way, baby. I'm the same way. I just got 1.5 Bitcoin between 5,000 and 7,000. My first buy was like at 7.8. I wish I didn't get that high, but my whole Bitcoin buy was at 5,300, and I'm really happy about it right now at the moment. I hope I am still happy about it because this changes day to day, and it's a fast-moving environment, honestly, so you never know. Let's just check my trade. We're up 14% now, as you can see here. Up 14%, up $729, in at 5,888. We're almost up $1,000 on the Bitcoin trade. I only have 0.88. I wish I had a whole Bitcoin there, but we have 0.88. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, if you want to get Bitcoin, the quickest way I would say was to download the Monarch wallet. Or you can go to my description here, and what's really cool is right here, buy Bitcoin. We both get $10 free. You hit this Coinbase here, and it brings you to Coinbase. And what will happen is you'll get $10 if you buy $100 worth, and I'll get $10 if you buy $100 worth. So we ended up extracting $200 out of Coinbase, and they take a lot of high fees, so it's about time we get something back. If you do it on your own, you just get the $100. But if you do it through my link, you get $110. So you make 10%. You link your bank account, and then you buy Bitcoin, and then you're able to send and receive Bitcoin as if it's a email account. So yeah, good for you for getting educated. Good for you for coming to the channel. Now, something I want to show you guys that's really worrying me a little bit now is I also like to accumulate gold. Okay, now gold's at $1,594 today, $1,595. But if you go to try to buy gold, you're gonna have to pay $1,800 to $1,900 an ounce. So you have to pay $300 over spot price. I've never seen that. Usually you pay $20 to $30 over spot price. And they're getting harder and harder to buy the gold. There's not as much gold as there used to be. So trying to get an ounce of gold right now is getting really, really tough. You can see if you go to two of the big gold dealers that I see, JP Boomyan, in stock alert. They were out of stock earlier this morning. 1 ounce is now in stock as low as $17.38. No, look, out of stock. So you can't buy an ounce of gold for $17.32 right now. Mike Maloney has it here at Gold and Silver, but he's charging a very, very high price. It's almost like he could see that it's getting crunched right now, so he's putting a high price. Now, the cheapest thing you can get is a bar of gold, in my opinion. It's $17.30. So this is what I would be getting, because now you're only paying like $130 over, and gold will come back to that. I will be probably purchasing a little more gold as well. I think it's a good something you really want to have, something you want to have as a backup. it actually will become the money that you need, not the US dollar that they're going to print to oblivion, absolute oblivion. So that's something we want to talk about. We showed you the Coinbase. Follow me here at SamPrice_remote_chief. That's where you can get all my news. I do an update telling people what's going to be on the channel that day. Just stuff like that. Like, this is just... And here we are. You're here with Sam Price, the remote. So there you go. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoLifer33. And go to the Crypto Lifer member group here on Facebook as well. Some inmates have gotten out of a Yakima County jail. 6 prisoners still on the run. They basically broke a door with a table somehow, and they got out. So that's kind of scary, too. With all this chaos going on, you have guys running around the state. Yeah. So with that, guys, I will sign off for the day. I think we had an amazing channel. A lot of awesome comments. Shout out to everybody on the group. Let's see. XRP Muser, Ali Farrat, Paula Receipts. Let's try not to miss anybody. The Boiling Crypto, Scott O'Leary, and my whole team, my whole group. Yo, if you left a comment, I think you're amazing. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video.